morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio. So today, we are looking at a new Crustle card. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the first new Crustle we've had in a very long time. Now, I did mention this in one of my news videos fairly recently. The last Crustle we got was back in Legendary Treasures, which came out in 2013. They have made us wait 6 years for a new Crustle. So let's hope it's good, shall we? Quick shout out to Dwebble before we get going, who's got Moltres on the artwork. I showed you previously that there's 3 legendary birds hidden in the artwork of these cards, and that's kind of cool. Dwebble is not a good card, incidentally. Can't even go and search it with Professor Alm's lecture. Boo, etc. But we're not here to talk about Dwebble, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk about Crustle. Although, as a side note, right, not being able to be got with Professor Alm's lecture is actually really bad, because post-rotation, we're not going to have stuff like Ultra Ball and Nest Ball. So, make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is really bad. Anyway, Crustle, 120 HP Cirques, because it means that the non-GX Buzzwole and the other things like Silvally, the hit for 120 will get a one-hit KO, and that's very sad. Retreat cost of 3 sucks, because it means you can't use buff padding, it means you can't search it out with Pokemaniac, it means that you cannot use Lickitung to draw an extra card. Yeah, we're weirdly at a stage now where it's a huge difference having a retreat cost of 4. It's really good. But then you end up with retreat cost of 3, and that's really bad. Boo, etc. Now, the weakness to fire also sucks, because with stuff like Welder, fire decks are great at the moment. So that's a little bit annoying. Only saving grace is most of them will probably one-hit KO you anyway. So, you know, it's not all bad. And then we've got grass typing here. You're not hitting very much for weakness, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad. Magikarp and Wailord could be relevant. We'll get there in a moment. And it means that you do have really good healing with stuff like Life Forest, Prism Star, and Shaman. I mean, that's what Celebi and Venusaur does. But then again, Celebi and Venusaur have huge HP rather than disappointing HP, so maybe that's not the barrier we should be looking at. Hey-ho. The good news is we've actually got a really nice ability here. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. And we've seen this kind of ability over and over and over and over again. But it's always been good. I mean, regular viewers of this channel should know by now that this is the ability that Donphan had, except Donphan was 20, not 30, and Donphan was my boy. This gives it an effective HP of 150. But even that is a little bit disingenuous, because you got an effective HP of 150 if you're being one-hit KO'd. If you're being 2-hit KO'd, then you've got an effective HP of 180. 3-hit KO'd, you've got an effective HP of 210, etc., etc. Because that's how much damage they've got to do in order to get that KO. So actually, this is not bad. And it's an ability on a non-GX. We don't need to mention basic anymore because Alolan Muck is rotating out. So that means the only way you're turning this off is slacking. And to be honest, that's kind of irrelevant, because slacking would get a one-hit KO whether you had the ability or not. So I like this. It's not a reason to play the card. This still doesn't make it beefy enough to be a blocker. So, you know, to take it with a pinch of salt like it deserves. It's fine. It's not wonderfully inspiring. It's not a reason to play the card. It's not going to keep you on the field for turn after turn after turn after turn after turn. But it does give you that little bit of extra bulk. Really, what we're saying here is there is a decent chance that this will allow you to survive a hit. Take something like the aforementioned Buzzwole. Will be getting a one-hit KO without the ability. With the ability, even if they've got a Diancie Prism Star, and they probably will, they still won't get a one-hit KO. But it's not good enough as a blocker, so we need a reason to play it other than as a blocker. What does the attack do? I should mention our translation here comes from the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net and the lovely David over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. 2 lovely dudes, both of whom agree on this translation, so I think we're looking pretty good with this. 50 damage for a grass double colorless energy flip 3 coins. If one of them is heads, you do 90. If 2 of them are heads, you do 130. If all 3 of them are heads, you do 200 damage. Okay, this is the reason to play Crustle, because you can do a whole bunch of damage. Grass, 2 energy, yeah. Now there are a couple of cards rotating out which are going to have a fairly large impact on this Pokemon and how good it's going to be moving forward. We are losing double colorless energy, and that's huge, because you attack for a grass double colorless. Well, now all of a sudden it's not a grass double colorless, it's a grass and 2 colorless. Sure, you can use Malamar to get psychic energy on, and that'll work. You can use Welder to get fire energy on, and that will work. You can use Tapu Koko to get an energy on there that's lightning type, and that will be fine. But you can't just use a double colorless energy anymore, because that's rotating. And we're also losing Victini, and that's a huge problem, because generally speaking, Victini lets you reflip. So you flip 3 coins, and then you can reflip all 3 of them, and it is all 3 at once, you can't do 1 at a time. So essentially, either you flip what you want, or you reflip. Now there's every possibility that you flip 1 heads, but you really wanted 2, so you reflip and you hit 0. That's going to happen sometimes. But it gives you a second chance of getting what you want to get here. We don't have it. So now we just have kind of a 50% chance of hitting 90, a 25% chance of hitting 130, and a 12.5% chance, 1 in 8, of hitting 200. And hitting 200 for this is great. Hitting 200 will KO GXs. There's your Dedenne going down. Cool. And, because of the weakness, there's your Magikarp and Wailord going down. The problem is you're not often going to hit 3 heads. When you hit 3 heads, you're doing 200 damage with a non-GX and you're golden. But even then, you're not getting your Pikachu and Zekrom, because you can play Shrine of Punishment, but you can't play Choice Band because that's rotating. So you can go and hit 210, but you can't go and hit 240. Little bit sad. Very sad, in fact. So you're getting a whole bunch of GXs, but you're not really getting tag team GXs unless they're weak. But as I've said, you're going to be hitting 3 heads 12.5% of the time. Well, that's not reliable, ladies and gentlemen. That's not reliable at all. So let's go back to the 25% chance here, and you've got a 25% chance of hitting 130. And 130 is good. I mentioned earlier on how you've got 120, and I said there's a big difference between 120 and 130. Well, now you're hitting 130. So stuff like Buzzwole will go down. That's really nice. But again, there's only a 1 in 4 chance you're hitting 130. And there's plenty of other non-GXs like Granbull, like White Kyurem that will go down here. But again, that's only 1 in 4 turns. So okay, let's talk about what you're going to be able to do every other turn. 50% chance, you're hitting 90. Well, that's a lot less exciting. Sure, you'll get Malamar and you'll get Jirachi. And if you're hitting for weakness and they've got 180 HP, you'll be getting them, but nothing immediately springs to mind that fits into that category. And then, yeah, it's fine. But Grass, 2 colorless energy on a stage 1 for 90? I am a lot less excited about this as I was in the other 2. And that's before we get to 0 heads. 0 heads is 50. And let's just go flat out and say it. Grass double colorless on a stage 1, 50 damage. No. That's just bad. And I don't think we need to spend a huge amount more time talking about that. So, it's really good if you can flip enough heads. And it's not good if you can't flip enough heads. And that's where we are. It's a really potentially good attack. Flipping 3 heads, 200 damage, great. But you'll do that as often as you'll flip no heads, 50 damage, terrible. If we get something else like Victini in the future, or if you're playing an expanded with Victini, and incidentally, if you're in expanded, you've also got Trick Coin, but please remember you can only play one of them at a time. You can go either Trick Coin or Victini. But the fact that we're not going to have Victini, the fact that we're not going to have Choice Band, the fact that it's flippy, the fact that we're not going to have double colourless energy, yes, grass has got good healing options, and yes, you can do a lot of damage with this, but I just worry it's not quite enough, and that makes me a little bit sad. So let's go ahead and give it between 2 and 3 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Lot of potential, don't know how much reality. I suspect not enough. But I would like to know how much reality you think it has. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about games that don't even have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.